Hey people, as you all know, I was a bit forced to stop hosting events and tournaments for a known amount of time. Yes, it's an actual PC ban on my main Steam account with CS2 inventory skins worth thousands of dollars, Steam level almost 300 and nearly 10 years of playing Dead by Daylight. It's a lifetime PC ban, which means even if I buy DBD on a brand new account, I would get banned instantly. But how? Let's begin. If you look at this screenshot, it says I violated terms of use. It doesn't specify which one, it just gives you a link to their terms of use text file or a website, which is extremely massive and there's no way I'm reading all of this. Shortly speaking, there's excessive amount of waffling, and anyways I think I broke every single rule. In fact, this whole time I've been such a naughty boy that I feel like there's no more point of hiding. I'll tell you every single illegal act I've committed in this game over the past 10 years. In the end of December 2016, Behavior might have released the buggiest patch in DBD history. I'll give you a bit of context. If you want to know the entire story, I will leave a link for you in the description. I also took part in this chaos. I used to equip Chainsaw on Myers, equip Botany Knowledge and Bond on Killers, giving me an actual constant wallhack. I also used to change cosmetics between Survivor and Killer, which granted me a constant Oblivious status effect, because the game was broken and there was no heartbeat. As you can guess, it didn't really affect my profile and I did not get banned like other players. You might think it's not that bad and anyways all players had fun, but this is just the beginning. For the next year I haven't really played much as I thought DBD was boring as hell, until I decided to hack Dead by Daylight for the first time in the end of 2017. I'll give you a little bit of background again. So since DBD didn't have servers, killers were hosts of every match, blah blah blah, it was extremely easy to get currency in DBD, mainly blood points. Right now this is extremely hard to hack blood points, but back in the days it was as easy as using cheat engine. It would take you like 1 minute to turn your 100k blood points to 100 million or any other number. To be honest, anyone who exceeded 100 trillion mark would instantly get banned for obvious reasons. Then I realized something. I don't have all characters and I don't have any cosmetics at all. I didn't want to pay for DLCs or skins, considering there were already a massive amount of unobtainable skins, such as Legacy Prestige, ultra rare skins and artifact rarity skins, which was literally exclusive and bounded to one single person. So I hacked all these things too. It was a bit more difficult because it required actually changing game files using software such as Hex Editor. It took me many hours, but eventually I got everything I wanted. I played couple of months on that account. I mainly was playing as Survivor with purple flashlight. You see, back in the days, rare items in DBD were actually rare. Like everyone now has at least one Survivor with Prestige 100, which has many flashlights, toolboxes with brand new parts, medkits with syringes, but back in the days these items were not affordable to all players. I mean, you could have used one purple flashlight in 50 games or so, but now you don't really care. I played a few months on that account and then got banned. Funnily enough, I managed to play on that account a year ago again. Yes, you heard that right. I played DBD on a banned account. Somehow the game let me in. They didn't remove all my progress, they just took away characters and majority of cosmetics, except all legacy prestiges. Also, for some reason, it was possible to play only as a killer, so I loaded and played a game as Hillbilly with full legacy prestige, and after that I forgot about that account. I might still be able to play it. Anyways, let's go next. It's 2019 and I wanted to play DBD again, so I created one more account, hacked blood points, cosmetics, shards, characters, etc. But this time I went even further. You see, back in the days famous config file was more flexible. You were able to enter more commands and change more settings. So I used what could have been described as the first ever DBD wall hack. The way it worked was so that you were able to only see a terrain in 10 meters radius around you, and the rest of the map was empty except killer, survivors, generators and totems. The way this bug worked was similar to CSGO, when people just deleted some textures, and something similar was in DBD. I also adjusted through config file killer's red stain and made it yellow and 2 times more massive. I also used to prank other players by leaking their IP address. I know I said this multiple times, but I'll say it again. The game in its early state was really poorly designed, with killers being constant hosts, lack of game's own servers, and as a result you didn't even need to download any extra software to find an IP address. All you needed to do was as simple as open Task Manager, go to all processes and find Dead by Daylight, as I remember. Just think about it. Your IP address could have been leaked if there was a random smart person smart enough to click 3 buttons. And leaking IP was actually very dangerous. Sometimes just by entering IP address on the internet you would be able to access person's Wi-Fi router, and some operators don't require any username or password. What I did next was very bad. I used to manually, during the mid-game in DBD, change random person's Wi-Fi password and reset it. Imagine this from killer's perspective. You are playing a normal game, you hooked Dwight and face-cammed him, and suddenly your game crashes due to no internet connection. You try to reconnect and realize that your password is wrong, and it might take you hours to fix that problem. You think that's all? No. What I used to do with players was even worse. So on there exists a so-called darknet database of all, and through some exclusive services it would be possible to find a link to a person through their. So what I used to do was following. I play a game with killer, I find their IP address, find their personal information including full name, and oh boy, those who rejected my friend request were lucky as hell, because the one who accepted got. So I would send them a text message on Steam which had something written like, "Hello, considering you live in." Also, so you get the point. I just bombarded people with a massive personal information leak. You have to agree that was wild. Not only it violates DBD policies, but I'm pretty sure I broke an international law multiple times. Anyways, I was just 14. A new era of trolling. I used to play the game in a way it was absolutely not intended to. I created a new DBD account, third I believe, and this time instead of cheating I wanted to find out if it was possible to get banned without hacking at all. I used to ruin games in arguably the most hilarious way possible. As survivor I turned into a killer. I made it 3v2 by constantly sandbagging and helping killer. As a killer I tried to be as toxic and offensive as possible. I will give you some examples just to understand how crazy I am. As survivor, I was obviously blocking my teammates' path, blowing gens, etc. I used to following perks: diversion, empathy, flashbang, and repressed alliance. Diversion was thrown at my teammates, empathy helped to identify them, flashbang was used to blind my own teammates, and repressed alliance was used to block generators for other survivors. For killers, I tried to hold survivors hostage until they DC, or play the way it was not intended at all. My favorite example was to play Booba and equip just one perk, Franklin's Demise. I would then find a person with a flashlight, hit them so they drop flashlight and DC immediately. I then laughed at them in the post-game chat saying, ha 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 ha, where's your flashlight? To be honest, I didn't come up with this idea, just heard someone who discovered this got perma-banned for this gameplay. For Executioner, I used to draw swastikas near the high ground and bring survivors so that they see my piece of art. I remember being popular to draw a smiley face as Executioner, but I changed that strat a little bit. The rest of killer strats were not so interesting. For example, for Pinhead, I tried to prevent survivors from picking the box. For Pig, it was insta-trap add-on gameplay. For Doctor, I was constantly shocking hooked survivor and preventing survivors from unhooking. You get the point. Surprisingly, for the first time, I got banned for 2 weeks, not because of that unwanted behavior, but because in the post-game chat, I accidentally called one Twitch streamer Nick 20 times. I mean, I only meant to do it 15 times, but I couldn't stop. So he reported me through support and I got banned for 2 weeks. And then the second time I got banned for this again, but for a month. I looked at behavior website and found that for bad language you get banned for 2 weeks, then for a month, and then forever. So in order to continue experiment, I stopped using chat at all. A year passed since then. Interestingly, for Survivor, since I lost so many games, my overall MMR went dramatically down to the point where I was only playing against new players, like actually new players who just installed the game and played their first, second or third match. I got bored once again and stopped playing, only to find out I got banned half a year later. By the end of the year, I started using certain software for Stream Snipe and Unlocker. Actually, I installed a few more less popular illegal instruments similar to this, and also installed mouse cursor. If you remember, a few years ago, Behavior implemented its own cursor in DBD, but then because of unknown bug removed it, so some players took initiative and fixed it. I think I need to give you a bit of backstory before I proceed. So you all know there exists the so-called user ID. In game it's UID and it's hidden in the settings. This small stupid parameter turned out to be extremely helpful in my next operation. It was visible by Stream Snipe programs, because the way these programs worked was so that you enter a nickname of a person and find a game with them. But there was also a better precise option, which is to use user's ID instead of nickname, but I realized it could be used for something else. If you ever want to contact DBD support, you need to open your browser, go to DBD support website, log in and enter your problem. The only problem is, you don't need to log in through your DBD or Steam account. You can just use Google account or a Facebook. And when they ask your identity, i.e. your DBD account, all they need is this stupid user ID. Now I guess you understand where this is all going. Of course I couldn't just enter a random famous content creator ID to make fun, because Behavior would obviously know I was lying. So I reported mostly random players and very unpopular YouTubers and Twitch streamers. The best example is 1v1 Rocket. I banned his main account. He's currently a very hype competitive player with a very good growing audience, but a couple of years ago he wasn't so popular. So I used the Stream Snipe program, joined and played a game with him, copied his user ID and waited. I then opened the ticket and said so much bullshit pretending to be 1v1 Rocket. It was a long conversation and I used all ethical and non-ethical instruments to get him banned. And eventually, well, you know the result. He was saying something about injected ACK, but this whole time I knew the real reason, and now the rest of the world is aware of my operation. By the way, this is the reason why Rocket will never get partnered with Behavior, because I destroyed his reputation completely. But let's forget about him, because my main source of attention wasn't him, but casual players Just to give you an example of how crazy I am, I was saving user ID of every single DBD player who I didn't like even for a second. That killer just face camped me, this mech just blocked me for 2 seconds. This Dwight didn't repair a single gen in a match. They will all be destroyed. I had such enormous power because of that exploit. I actually went insane. Remember an example of a face camping killer? I would go to support service, make a ticket and ask behavior to refine this exact killer. For example, a guy face camped me with Booba. Okay, he's not playing Booba anymore. His character will be removed. This mech blocked me for 2 seconds. Okay, she will be banned for 2 weeks because of bad language. But I found out something even more evil. Just like if that exploit wasn't bad enough, I learned that you can actually steal all DBT programs from any account. What did I say? Random Dwight didn't repair gens, but instead used his flashlight and chased killer the entire game. Then not only your purple flashlight, but an entire collection of every single flashlight you own will be mine. So I made another ticket support saying that I would like to sync my progress on another platform because I can't play on that account anymore or some other bullshit. And it worked. After a long conversation and my uncountable amount of excuses, DBD support would synchronize progress to my new account, making so that the next time Dwight opens a game, he will end up losing all his programs, just as if he played DBD for the first time ever. A new year always comes with new ideas. I couldn't stop and there was no one to stop me. In fact, I want my pain to be inflicted on others. I want no one to escape. With this mindset I created a company called Amazing Chase Corp. The main point of this project was to scam. I created a Discord server and hosted many events and tournaments, more than 15 total I believe. But there's a catch. Despite rules set clearly saying that best players will receive money, I did not pay anyone even a single dollar. I was constantly harassing and trash talking players, yet I somehow grew some audience. For example, anyone who won a tournament got a special role called Mammoth. Now I guess you know I scammed a lot of people, but it didn't fulfill me. I wanted more tears, more sufferings, more money, and I came up with a new idea. Link Amazing Chase Corp with a crypto scam project. I created a coin called Amazing Chase Coin. At first it was growing at a normal speed until somehow a few whales got interested and bought a massive amount of coin supply for $1 million. What started as a meme project now gave me enough money for my entire life. I couldn't stop there. I waited a bit more and the market exploded. Bitcoin reached 100k mark and the total market capitalization for my coin reached $10 million. At the same time I got banned in DBD for one of the reasons I explained before. So I decided that's enough and stole all the money.
$1 million. And now the mark. Oh! Oh! It went to zero! Yeah!
To avoid getting imprisoned, I bought a massive island and now I live here. This is my story. If you're on my Steam friend list and you have comment section opened, you might have seen comments from weird Chinese people, even though you don't know them. Well, that all started after my account got banned. I don't know why, but for the past 2 months they have left around 100 comments on my Steam friends profiles, maybe even more. If you have any information about them, please explain to me. DBD PC bans turned out to be extremely good, so behavior bans not only MAC address, but pretty much every single component of your computer, even including your monitor and mouse sometimes. What you see on the screen might look like a regular mouse, but it's a trap. It's got affected by a ban. It means that if I ever plug this mouse into a PC, it will share a ban making UPC unplayable for DBD forever. So for the past month I visited around 10 computer clubs in Moscow and spread the ban on around 100 different machines. If you ever come to Moscow, don't play DBD on computer club. Since I am now rich guy, I decided to upgrade my laptop and bought a brand new with Nvidia 50 series graphics card. This means that my PC ban is gone and I am able to play DBD on a new account. So next event will be in the end of September, beginning of October. Bye bye!